Hi everybody, this is Mark Von Cannon, Director of Student Recruitment and Career Development for the College of Letters and Science. With me today I have Metzli Montero. She is a second year applied physics student, and she's going to tell us a little bit about how her remote learning experience is going this quarter. So Metzli, do you want to just quickly introduce yourself and tell us how things are going with you for remote learning?
Yeah, of course. As mentioned, my name is Metzli Montero. I'm a second year applied physics student. Honestly, remote learning has been kind of tough. I'm so used to commuting to school, taking a walk in the arboretum, physically going to labs with hands-on activities, and remote learning, although there has been adaptations, it's still a very different change.
Were all of the classes that you were planning on taking, did those shift to online?
Yes, I'm taking actually 3 classes this quarter, biology, physics lab class, as well as a Chinese class. And all of those were shifted to completely online learning.
Metzli, do you want to just tell us how that lab class is going? What does that look like?
My physics lab is more so of a computing and sort of a coding lab class. I think it's a little better, to be honest, for my physics class. Physics is such a group learning environment, and a lot of it was independent learning, and if you needed assistance, the TA was there. Whereas online learning, it's kind of different, where I directly email a TA, they immediately respond saying, hey, you need help? Here's a Zoom meeting, let's chat. Everybody's a lot more flexible with their time, so it's a lot quicker to receive in-person assistance. Of course, there are drawbacks to not physically meeting, like in my biology labs, where I'm supposed to be having lots of dissections, though it's more so like me visually watching a professor do it.
So you mentioned a little bit about those changes. What other things have you found to be challenging with remote learning?
Yeah, so a big thing about UC Davis is community. And although I do have access to my friends via messaging or even video calls, it's not the same as talking person to person. And so online learning, in a sense, kind of makes me feel more isolated, but it also encourages me more to communicate with my peers, and it kind of takes away that intimidating factor of, talking to a professor face to face.
So you've talked a little bit about how you've communicated with your classmates and your faculty. Do you do any group work in your classes? How does that work?
Yeah, so something in one of my classes, I do a lot of group work in my Chinese class. So what my teacher does is she assigns us breakout rooms. So we're in a Zoom call with maybe 2 other students working together on a task. In my biology class, we have group presentations still. My biology TA sends out an email, and we're in charge of reaching out and contacting our peers. And once that happens, we set up be it a Zoom meeting or a Google Hangout video, and we just do a presentation. It's a lot harder to work on group projects. I really prefer people-to-people interaction rather than texting.
You've mentioned the 3 classes that you're taking this quarter. Would you say that you're learning the material?
Yes and no. I think for me, online learning relies on a lot of self-initiative, and there are just some days where you just don't feel like doing anything. Normally, when classes were still happening and you would physically go to class, I would draw on some motivation from my peers just by physically going to class and realizing that, oh, I do have responsibilities I should get done. Whereas online learning, I'm always at home, so it's the temptation to just go back to bed is real strong. But kind of reminding myself, keeping a journal and realizing, hey, I have this to-do list to do. At the end of the day, I need to get it done. A lot of it is on self-initiative.
Metzli, how are you engaging with your faculty? Are they taking questions during live lectures? Do they hold office hours? How are you getting the support from your faculty?
Yeah, so something that's kind of different about online learning is that in person, you feel inclined to raise your hand and ask questions. Whereas online learning, there's a press for time because, of course, the professors need to cover their content. So a lot of my communication with my professors is done via Zoom meetings of office hours.
how has testing been happening? How have your faculty been assessing your comprehension of the material?
I feel like a lot of different faculty kind of approach this a different way. In my Chinese class, what happens is we actually have like a Zoom meeting with everybody, and we take online Canvas quizzes almost every day, and that kind of tells our professor to like where exactly we are in our understanding of her lectures. My biology class does something similar. They have Canvas quizzes, post lecture quizzes to check our understanding. They're not graded at all. They're completely participation based.
Metzli, how do you stay on task with the things that you need to accomplish? How do you maintain a sense of normalcy for being a college student from your own living room?
For me personally, like in the beginning of the quarter, I was really good at, keeping my agenda, my journal, and writing down what I needed to do and staying on top of that. But to be honest, once midterm season rolled around, like my motivation kind of dropped dramatically.
Yep.
So something that I did and something that I would recommend anyone to do is reach out to somebody that you really admire, or reach out to a friend. I didn't realize that I could drag other people into my problems. So what I did, I ended up relying on my mom because she's also here, and I told her like, hey, like if you see me slacking off between these hours, like let me know that, like, hey, do you have something to do? Show me what you've done. I think just sharing your goals with another person is really helpful to keep yourself accountable. Because for some of us, our pride is something that keeps us going, not motivation. And I think that's something that's really helped me along the way.
Metzli, thanks for your honesty in answering our questions today. Thanks for participating in this, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. See you soon.